All right, so here you go. The Google Doc is here now in the chat. All right, and with that, I'll now pass the floor to Stefania.
Thank you, Elena, for the introduction, and welcome everybody. I will present today the work that OpenAIRE is doing to clean the graph. So this is the deduplication phase, and I have to, first of all, I have to acknowledge all the work that is done by the OpenAIRE Graph team, and this presentation was prepared with the group of researchers that we have in Pisa of the Italian Research National Council, and the research group in Zagreb of the Ruđer Bošković Institute. So I'll start with orienting graph, just to understand what today's topic would be. So we've seen in earlier community calls and in earlier presentations that there is a workflow that we follow to build the graph that starts from the aggregation of sources and metadata records from multiple sources, and then goes by a series of steps until the final building up of the knowledge graph. Today we will discuss. We have seen in previous community calls details about the aggregation phase and how we clean the data. Today is specific on the deduplication phase. This is a very crucial step for the graph production because as you can see here, the sources of data of the graph are many and varied, and this means that the metadata that we collect regarding the entities of the graph, data sources, research products, organizations, etc., the data related to the same record may come from different providers, and this use very, very commonly translates into having a variation of information related to the same record. So you can understand that having unambiguous records and information related to these records is absolutely crucial for the quality of the graph itself, and the aspect of deduplicating, identifying same records is something that has to do with a variety of tasks in the research activities that go from discovery of research product, giving visibility to research outputs, assessing the impact of those. And so this is a topic that touches really everybody in the research landscape, from researchers that need to find digital objects and also give visibility to their own research product, to research performing organization that wants to showcase their scientific production in a consistent way, for funders that needs to monitor and have consistent information to evaluate the impact of their funded projects, and in general for everyone that operates with services for open science to have functional and up-to-date services. So what is the solution implemented by OpenAIRE? In OpenAIRE, we can divide the solution into areas according to what is the entity that we need to deduplicate. In-house, the duplication workflow that we apply to the research products and to data sources. And in particular, we have automated algorithms to identify the duplicates for research products. We will see everything in detail later. For data sources, these algorithms are complemented by the managers of the sources, the staff that check them manually, and also there is a systems for the data providers to check what they have provided to OpenAIRE, and in case of multiple records, they have the opportunity to submit directly a request via a ticketing system. And this is what we do in-house, so relying on the OpenAIRE staff. In addition, we have a specific service for research organization that is called OpenORGs, and this starts with the same principle of identifying candidates with our algorithms, but in addition to that, relies on external curators that have a deep knowledge of the research landscape in their country. And they work directly on resolving ambiguities, filling in information, and assuring the quality of the metadata that we get from their organization or the organization of their countries. So now I will break down these solutions, and I'll start with the workflow for the data sources and the research products. So the in-house the duplication. I'd like to start with showing you first how the duplicated data can be seen by the user. So where do you see that this work has been done? I have here some screenshot taken from our interface of the graph, OpenAIRE Explore, where you can search for publications, sources, organizations, etc. And we have on the left here a publication. And you can see that there are two versions of this publication. This is very typical. This is a very common case in science when you have, in this case, I'm not sure that this is the exact case, but one common case is when you have a preprint deposited on open repositories like Archive, for example, or there are others as well. And then you have the published version of the journal. Of course, we don't want to record the two different we don't want to have two different records of the same products. We want to recognize that the two records exist, but we want to also recognize that they are indeed the same objects, and we want to merge them. This is an example for a publication, and you can see the two identifiers listed here, where the DOI is considered as the main one, and we also keep track of all the other identifiers that we have, and the versions available are maintained in the graph. Another example, in this case, not for a single research product, but for a source of data like Zenodo. So, for example, in Zenodo, we harvest and aggregate data from Zenodo, but the data contained in Zenodo are are also aggregated by other providers that are in turn source of data for OpenAIRE. And you can see listed them here: OpenDoor, the EOS Resource Sub, for sharing, etc. So we recognize that data from Zenodo come from all of these sources, and we do not count them multiple times, but we recognize that these are from the same source. Okay, now let's see what is behind the scene of this deduplication workflow. So this goes through starting with research products. We go through a multiple-step workflow that starts with very first point, the entity collection. This is the phase where going in the graph, we identify the records of a given type. This means we identify what are the publications, what are the software, the data sets, the sources of data, the organizations, and why? Because the subsequent identification of duplicates will be done only between records of the same type. Okay, so for example, a publication and a software could never be considered or evaluated for possible duplication. That would be separate records. So collection of the entities that will then they will made available for the following phases. The second phase is the candidate identification. This is important because you can imagine we have a huge data set of records, and if we have to identify duplicates, we cannot take every single record and compare with every other record to check if they are the same or not. This would be unfeasible, take too long, and no question, this cannot be done. So the task here is to identify groups of similar records first, and then go to the actual identification of duplicates, studying every single group, going group by group, and within each group, evaluate if those records are indeed duplicates or not. So let's now dive into the actual identification of records. So this goes through a decision tree, okay, like the one that you see here. This is an algorithm that is optimized for the specific entity that we are about to assess. In this case, you see here what we use for the publications. Okay, software will have a targeted decision tree. Data sets will have a specific decision tree, and in this phase, this is the phase where pairs are compared together. So let's see what we have. For example, in the case of the publication, the decision tree starts with the persistent identifiers. So for two records that are identified as candidate, we compare the persistent identifiers. If already they have one persistent identifier in common, then they are for sure duplicates. Otherwise, there is a check on the instance type. For example, a publication could be either an article or could be a presentation, a conference proceeding, or there are subtypes of the publications. And the subtypes needs to match for identifying duplicates. If the subtypes don't match, they are not duplicates. And then we move on in the subsequent step by checking alternative identifiers, not the trusted one, but other types of persistent identifiers. And if these are recognized as common, then we proceed with a check on the title, using the Levenstein distance. This is a metric to check that compares the text in two strings and measure how distant they are. So what needs to be changed so that to have the same title. And we have a threshold here to consider the comparison between titles as a match or not. Otherwise, there is another branch of the tree that goes until checking the length of the title and then also the list of the authors, if they match or not. So this is the algorithm for publications. And if you're interested in the technical aspects of how this matching is optimized, I invite you to check to check the documentation. And it's very interesting to see how the solution that we found to make this efficient identification of duplicates. And I had another graph here, yes, to show the impact of this task. What you see here is a comparison of the research products divided by, classified by type, before and after the duplication is done. What you see in red is the duplication numbers, and these are the numbers that you see in the statistics of the graph. So what you access in the end when you use the graph data are the duplicated data. And what OpenAIRE, the starting point of OpenAIRE aggregating data is what you see here in blue, even without looking at the exact number, this is an important cleaning step to perform. And okay, this is for the research products. Moving on to the data sources. I've shown you before an example with Zenodo. This is what happens, how we can identify duplicates in data sources. So the principle is the same as before, at least the starting point is the same as before, but the decision tree is in this case a bit different. Still goes through identifiers, URL, the official name, and then there is an extra check on the name of the data sources. Once the algorithm has provided some suggestion on possible candidates, there is the additional phase where curators approve and check if the source that are being compared are duplicates or not before ingesting to the OpenAIRE graph. And again, here, these are the numbers related to the latest full release of the graph dataset of last January or February, about the curated that have been the data source that have been curated so far. Moving on to the organizations. Here, as I said earlier, we relied on again on an hybrid process that combines an automatic algorithm and human curation. And we do this through a dedicated service that is called OpenAIRE. And so we have basically an aggregation of information about the organization from different sources, organization registries, directly from funders, various databases, etc. And you can imagine the problem that are related to identifying organizations. If you are in research, I'm sure you've seen affiliations of authors that change by an order of the lab or an address of countries, etc. The way the information about organization is exposed can really vary a lot from different providers. So what is the role here of the importance of, I mean, the need also to rely on experts for curating the metadata? We need, I mean, this curation following some suggestions from our algorithm is important for really authorize what is, I mean, the actual situation in a given organization. So we have a very, I'll show you the numbers later, but we have a big team of curators that joined the OpenAIRE team, curating metadata. The tasks that are typically done by curators are checking the suggestion made by the algorithm and identifying and resolving these duplicates, but also adding, if they exist, parent-child relation, for example, a department within a university. No, or yeah, so this typical situation where we can attribute a laboratory to a bigger research center, for example. Approving the organization finally, and providing them with a stable identifier for OpenAIRE. This is a work that is done typically country by country. So we have countries, a specific country can have multiple curators for that country, and the curators need to be people, experts of the research landscape in that context. We have the updated numbers are now we reached 148 curators from 63 countries and got more than 100,000 organizations curated. If you're interested, visit the OpenAIRE website, and you'll find all the instructions on how to become a curator. One thing that I forgot, now that I'm almost at the end of the presentation, I've shown you the what happens with the decision tree and how the duplicates are identified. But then I forgot to move on the final phases of the duplications. Okay, so so let's say we have gone through the decision tree, the algorithm, the human curation, and we ended up with identifying the duplicates, with identifying matches. What happens after? That these matches are grouped together, and for each group, there will be one representative record that will contain all the, information on that record. That's the example that I've shown you for the publication, and so there will be one representative record, but keeping and maintaining the information collected from all the records that are identifying as duplicate. Okay, and then the final step, relation redistribution. This means that all the relations that were identified for each of the records belonging to the merged record will be assigned to these representative records. So if, for example, a relation between a publication and a software was established for one record, now we have recognized that there are that let's say publication, the relation was established maybe with the preprint, but we have the published version now, and the published version is the representative record for that publication. The relation with the software will be redistributed, transferred to also the representative record. And this is, of course, important to keep consistency in how the information is propagated in the graph and not lost in the graph. Okay, sorry for this flashback. Okay, so I think, yes, this is the end of the duplication for the organizations and all the other entities. So using the OpenAIRE graph means using deduplicated scholarly data. And once again, you have multiple ways to access the data of the graph and use it. I know that in every community call we say this, but this is a good moment to remind you of all the multiple ways to use and access the graph. The full data set is published every 6 months, is released every 6 months on Zenodo. And where you have the records published as organizations, projects, publications, etc. And I invite you to follow the links. And also we have included all these links in the notes in the document that is shared in the chat, I guess, yes. So the full data set on Zenodo, and a subset of the data set is also published to practice with the beginner's kit. We have public APIs. Last month we had a webinar on the new released public APIs. The Google Cloud BigQuery also is another way to efficient way to access the OpenAIRE graph data, and through our OpenAIRE services, and also in the EOSC, the European Open Science Cloud EU node. So okay, I think this is about time to stop. I will end with an announcement. In the coming month, we'll have, so first of all, let me tell you, because not everyone maybe comes to every month to the community call. So for each of these, well, not each, but for many of these, let's say, portals to the OpenAIRE graph, we had dedicated community calls. So one of the last was about the Google BigQuery. And so if you follow these links, you'll get to the relevant resources. We had months ago one on EOSQ node, others showing how we use the graph in the OpenAIRE services, etc. Now is the time, if you're interested, to come to our training for the OpenAIRE Graph APIs. So we'll have one dedicated to members, the 6th of June. So if you're a member, you have received the invitation in your inbox. And we have another one that is public, so open to anybody interested in using the graph data through the APIs, the 20th of June. So if you're interested, register now. The link is also in the document, and maybe we can post it in the chat as well. Register because there are limited seats. This is a good chance to come and work together. The sessions will be very hands-on. So we'll go through practical exercises. So if you are interested in specific topics and learning how to use the graph for your specific use case, please register. And in the registration form, you can write what you need to get from the OpenAIRE graph, and we can make sure that this is dealt with during the training. And that's it. This is the end of the presentation. Thank you very much for listening. And please ask your question, make your comments, raise your hands.
Thanks so much, Stefania. It's great. Good overall view of everything and also going through the different phases. Thank you so much. So yes, as Stefania said, please feel free to raise your hand to ask a question, post in the chat, Q&A. We have the Google Doc. Now's the time. And of course, if later on you do think of anything, you can always reach out to us via the user form, which was pasted in the chat in the beginning. Or the OpenAIRE help desk, OpenAIRE Graph help desk as well. So see if anybody has any questions, comments, feedback on the process. Yes. Yes, Junichi.
Thank you for your great presentation. And I learned a lot about the deduplication process of OpenAIRE. And sorry, I'm a Japanese researcher, and I also providing scholarly database. So I'm very interested in such kind of deduplication or EU activity, although Japan is not in EU. And I have one question. I found trusted PID and untrusted PID in your slides deduplication algorithm. If you have any idea, would you comment about how distinguish trusted and untrusted PID? Can we use and improve it?
This is a very relevant question, in fact. Yes, we have, so you can check actually what we consider trusted PIDs in our documentation. Let me open the page. had it open here. So depending on the entities that we are talking about, we have providers, I mean data sources, providers that are considered trusted, and we have the list in the documentation. Let me just yes, okay. Am I sharing? No, I'm not. Let me share again. Yes. No, what do you see? Do you see the web page?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Okay, POD authorities. Yes, this is in the graph documentation. That is excellent, by the way. Sorry for just going back. We have a fantastic team that is I really, I mean, recommend you to go through the documentation of the graph if you're interested. I love it. Sorry. So we have the ID authorities according to the type.
Let's see.
Here and
yes, confirm.
well, an interesting point for this deduplication algorithm is that, as you saw in the decision tree, there are some trusted PIDs and untrusted. Whatever is provided, I mean, the information that we have from untrusted PIDs will not give a final decision on the matching or not. So this is useful for sorting the data and yes, going through the through the workflow, but and this is so what I know from my colleagues, that in practice the final the verdict, the decision on the matching is indeed through the persistent identifier. This is the I mean the most important element to establish merges or not.
But I understand the direction to
yes.
distinguish such a trusted or untrusted, or provider is well known, or everyone knows the repositories, and yeah, it constructed with some kind of trusted. Yeah.
Do you have
really understand.
Okay, you mentioned that you are also a data provider, right?
Yeah.
I mean, do you follow a similar approach, or
yes,
when
I'm also a biological researcher, and I know much about the protein data bank, UniProts, and also PubMed is a publication repository of biological databases. So it was constructed from the kind of a history. Many researchers knows about these database and PIDs. So it can be from such kind of road of researchers. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
I don't know if anybody else would like to raise their. I see. Yes, Filipa.
I'm going to ask a question, but I have to say, this is my first time, and I've learned about OpenAIRE Graph very recently. So I apologize if my question is absolutely, like be below beginners, level, okay? But I went to your website, right? Like OpenAIRE Graph, and then there's an option to click like Explore Graph. When I click there, it brings me back to the OpenAIRE like Explore web page. So it doesn't really bring me to like the graph, I guess like option. I'm not sure is is this the way that it should be working? Like I was imagining that, there would be like some type of search box and then there would be an actual graph, like emerging from, like this search.
Yes, okay, no. So first of all, don't apologize for the question because this is a community call. So this is the place where to come as newcomers and understand what to do with the graph. Okay, so yes, when you see explore the graph and you are redirected to the to another website, the OpenAIRE Explore website, that is because the Explore is the user interface. So, I mean, it's very, there are many ways to access the OpenAIRE graph. And this portal, OpenAIRE Explore, is the most interactive one when you can click and find. I can show you some way how to
Okay.
how to use it. So yes, when you go to explore the graph, you find this website.
Yes.
And you have the chance to search here because it's I mean the access to the full data set. This is possible. This is through Zenodo. I had the link in the presentation, but
Yes.
this requires intensive computational infrastructure. So it's something. I mean, according to who you are, you can find the most efficient way to access the information. This explore, let me show you an example. So you can perform a research. So you have a very basic research bar here, where you can type freely whatever you want. And in most, let's say, smart, efficient way is to go through the advanced research and perform a research by according to the entity that you want to look for. For example, research products, publications, research data, software, or others, projects, organizations, data sources. And for example, here you can, if you select research products, you can further refine your search, including, I don't know, the name of an author. You can have include or not include, and then type the terms. For example, I can type my last name, and there are. Let's make a basic search like that. I just typed the last name, so we have many many results. But this is just to show how you can add other filters below. For example, another author, or the ORCID, or for example, look for document type. This could be. You can do it in two ways. Either I mean, using this this window here when you can perform your search, and there is also these filters that you have on the left where you can, I don't know, select only the open access or only publications.
Okay, I mean, I get the gist of this part, yeah. But like, where do we arrive to to a graph? Like to the interconnectability of, like the publications we are I don't know if this maybe help also refine my question to you.
Yeah, so the connectability you can have
Yeah.
with this interface. You take, for example, one of the results. So I'm going first on the. I'm zooming in and then I'm zooming out. So
Okay.
taking one record of the result, you have the information on the all the versions, the sources that have provided this record. So there are different ones, and you can have, I mean, you can check how the record was provided by each of the source. The sources are different here. The licenses could be also different. Okay. If there are information about funders, this is not the case. But for example, if there's a funder, the funder information will appear here as well. So this is when the graph come together, putting together the authors, the identifier, publisher, journal, and then we have, yes, related organizations. We have some enrichment that is done by OpenAIRE, mining the full text, etc., and finding, for example, the classification according to the field of science, the information about the accessibility of this type of record, information about the citations, other metrics related to the impact. So this is what you see for a single record. Another opportunity is to, once you have done all your filters here and you end up with a list of records that you are interested in, you can sort by many fields, and then you can download the results. With download, you have the option, I mean, you will get a CSV, like an Excel table, with this information. Let's have something, 100, this is something reasonable. Let's see if I can show you the result. So this is something, according to what you need to do. It's very intuitive and interactive. Depending on what you need to do, this could not be efficient. Maybe the APIs, retrieving the information through the APIs could be a more efficient way. Let me. No?
If I may as well, so we recently also in February held a community call on the different ways to access the graphs data. So as Stefania said, Explore is really the user interface. So for example, if I'm somebody and I want to see what papers and things are in the graph, but I don't know how to use APIs, I don't know how to write queries, maybe I don't have the computing infrastructure for the whole data set, this is the simplest, easiest option, just most user-friendly. But if you do know how to, use APIs, write queries, all these kinds of things, you can access the data set via Zenodo, the beginner's kit, and also via the API and BigQuery. So we held a community call in February where we actually went over the different ways of accessing the data itself. So I'm linking that here now, where you have the recording and the slides, so that might be useful. And then again, as well, also all past community calls can be found on the Graph website, but this one might be interesting if you're trying to see which way best works for you to access the data. So that may also be helpful as well.
Okay. Thank you.
And this is
I haven't worked with APIs before, but I mean, I guess like I could, I could learn.
Well, as Stefania mentioned, we're hosting the public API training June 20th, so please feel free to register for that. The link is here, but I've sent a lot of stuff in the chat, so I'll post it again. So it's the latest one. And there is limited seating, so definitely get your place while you can, because it is a hands-on training. We want to make sure we have, we have 2 trainers, so we want to make sure that they have the capacity to, answer questions and help everybody out. So of course there's limited seating. So please feel free to join.
Thank you.
Yeah, and this is the download that we've done. So you have the information in this table, and I mean, this is something more manageable in case you have to, I don't know, write reports, or I mean, you have typically the type, title authors, the DOI, if it's peer-reviewed or not, if it's in the Diamond Journal or not, what is the journal, URLs, if the article is open, you have the URL to download it, etc. Founder.
Okay.
Yeah, this kind of yeah. This is the explore the OpenAIRE graph.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you for the question, and welcome to the graph community calls. Hope to see you,
Thank you.
In the next ones.
Thanks. All right, let's see if we have anything else in the document. No. If anybody else has any other questions? Reminder also, again, if you do think of something later on, feel free to reach out to us via the OpenAIRE Graph user forum. The user forum is a great place because you reach out to not only the team, but the community as well. So you can kind of, help each other out, and then also share tips and feedback and all those kinds of things. If we don't have anything else, we might wrap it up there and give you 5 minutes before maybe your next meetings. Take a breather. So thank you so much again, Stefania, for the presentation, and everyone for your participation and questions. The recording of this session, you'll receive an email in the coming days with the recording and the link to the Google Doc where we'll finish writing our responses to the questions.
And the slides.
And the slides, thank you. That's what I was missing something. And the slides. Great, thanks. All right, if that's it, then we'll wrap it up. And again, thank you all, and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Bye.
Thank you.